Welcome, Nerd Nation, to this latest edition of the Sports Nerd Show. We are a collection of sports nerds whose mission is to bring you as much sports talk as time allows over the next 60 minutes. Although we will strive to be highly informative and equally as entertaining over the next hour, we must warn you that there may be some cuss words along the way. But we don't give a damn, because that is the way most humans in the real world tend to talk, and we, the sports nerds, are no exception. So without further ado, Nerd Nation, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as I present to you the founder and host of this crazy-ass show, Scott, the Sports Nerd Wright.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Nerds. I am your humble host, Mr. Scott Wright, the Sports Nerd, and along with my producer, Mr. Elliot Biggie Lamba, we're here to talk about the last few days in the world of sports. Hang on a second. Go here. Go back. I'm trying to share the feed. Bear with me here in a second. Anyway, here we are on the last day of spring before summer begins tomorrow. Major League Baseball is in full force. We have new NBA champions that we're going to talk about. Edmonton also forcing a game 6 on Florida Panthers. And we lost quite possibly the most talented baseball player ever to play the game, and Mr. Willie Mays. So we'll go over all of that tonight. Elliot, good to see you home. I know you're tired. I know you're worn out. Otherwise, how you doing?
All right. One quick thing, though. You know how much I post Cowboys memes?
Yes, I know. Yes.
Right, on the Sports Nerd page?
Yes.
So today, the other day, I posted one. Well, actually, it was yesterday. And it had 4 pictures. It said, "This is what brand new televisions, cars, cell phones, and computers look like the last time Cowboys won a Super Bowl."
Yes.
Right? And, pretty dated stuff. But our old friend who rarely chimes in anymore, Army.
Yes.
Decided to ask me in San Francisco. And I'm like, okay, Army, well, I'll tell you what, the meme is actually Cowboy specific, but feel free to share similar memes of San Francisco if you can find them, since we are nowhere near the shit show Dallas is.
And I'm sure Army was more than happy to oblige.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard back.
Okay.
Look, if the San Francisco memes were out there, people would be throwing them at me.
Correct.
But this is talking about the last time the Cowboys were even relevant.
1995.
Yeah. I mean, we might not have won since a year before them, but we've been in a position to win since then.
At least the Niners have reached NFC championships, whereas the Cowboys have not.
And 3 Super Bowls.
Correct.
So this is, Dallas fans are just like Bill and the Boston fans. They are too sensitive. They like to talk shit.
They're stuck in the past.
They get all girly on you.
And they're all stuck in the past.
Yeah. So when you find that VHS tape, Army.
Hi, Sheila. Good to see you.
Enjoy.
Good Lord. So you've been on the other side of the country the last week or so.
I was there for 11 days, 12 days.
Yeah, and in the hot area of Arizona,
Phoenix,
Arizona,
and Tucson. That's where I'll be delivering.
Right, and that's where you're going to be moving there next month. Getting out of Florida. Congratulations.
I'll be arriving in Tucson, God willing, after driving with my son who's flying in from Tucson to help me. We're leaving Friday morning the 12th, and we should be in Tucson Saturday night the 13th.
Okay. All right. You're going to drive straight through?
Absolutely. I didn't call anybody to freaking help me to freaking stop at hotels.
That drive across I-10 across the country is no joke though too. So
No, I know that. But you know what? I did it back in 2003, I think it is.
Yep.
From Bradenton.
Yep.
To Tucson.
Yep.
In 31 hours by myself.
Okay.
Without stopping in no damn hotel, rest area, or otherwise. If the car ran on electricity, I wouldn't have stopped for that either. I wouldn't have had to stop for gas.
All right. Well, I'm going to miss having you close by, Elliot, because you're always around when if I need a haircut or
Well, yeah, but you're going to leave too. So what's the?
Yeah, I might be. Again, that's not set in stone yet, so we'll see
But
how it
still,
goes.
the possibility of you moving to the other side of
To
Florida,
the East Coast, yeah, it's out there. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
it's not gonna be for like 8 months or so. So we'll see what happens.
let's get real. In the whole time that I've known you, how many times have we actually seen each other?
3 or 4, maybe 3.
Three.
Okay. No,
3.
that's all right.
Okay.
all
So
good.
it is what it is.
That's what it is. You're right.
If you miss me that much, you can always take a flight out to Arizona. I got an extra room.
Anyway, so let's do this. First, let's cover the NBA. Boston Celtics win the NBA championship. Take it in 5 games.
And quite honestly, I'll just have to take everybody's word for it because I never got to watch Game 5.
Right. I didn't watch Game 5 either. I'm not a big NBA guy. You know that. But
yeah, but I was more stuck with Delta than being able to watch basketball games.
yeah. Yeah.
That Delta adventure I had coming back from Arizona was one for the books.
Yes, I'm sure. But my point being is that all the pundits out there are now talking about a Boston Celtic dynasty, that they're going to win 3 out of the next 4 NBA championships. It's going to be a dynasty roster, and there's nobody can stop them.
No.
You know what? To be honest, Elliot, there's a lot of parity in the NBA right now. A lot of parity.
Here's the thing, and this is one thing that people like Bill Clark and other Boston fans are never going to freaking admit,
Right.
is that the Celtics ran through a weak conference.
An injured conference. That's why.
It was a weak conference for the most part because
Right.
a lot of the teams were full strength, but a lot of the teams sucked. I
Yeah.
mean, you got Detroit, teams like that. You're gonna do well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about regular season because
I'm talking about regular season. They got to a 65-17 record.
Yep.
Because of the lack of competition.
The weakness in the Eastern Conference.
The Eastern Conference. See, the
Yeah.
Eastern Conference is the equivalent of the
NFC
AFC
South.
versus NFC.
Well,
as
and
far as
NFC
quarterback.
South. NFC South. You go there. Go.
No, I'm talking about AFC versus NFC. AFC has 11 quarterbacks that can be, all stars.
Right.
Where there's like 2 or 3 in the NFC.
Right.
Okay. Well, there's 10 teams in the Western Conference that are championship capable.
Yep.
Where there might only be a handful in the Eastern Conference.
Correct.
Okay. Not to mention they took advantage of a lot of injuries in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had an easy road. But guess what? All these teams now are going to get healthy. The Knicks are going to be knocking on their door. Indiana is going to be knocking on their door.
The Cavaliers will be knocking on that.
Cavaliers will be knocking on their door.
Right.
Philly will be knocking on their door.
Correct.
Okay. Orlando ain't no slouch anymore either.
No, they're not.
Okay. So
they're a tough, scrappy team.
Miami's always going to be there in the mix right there. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy it, Boston.
Well,
but Dynasty.
Provided Jimmy Butler stays in Miami, yeah.
Dynasty? No, you got to win more than 2
Yeah. I'm with you.
to be talked about as a dynasty.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You won your first one. You had 3 shots before you did it.
Yep.
Okay. As far as Jason Tatum goes, I don't even think he's the best player on their team. But that's what they have anointed him
Yep.
in Boston. Okay. And in some circles of sports media and pundits.
Yep.
Okay. As far as dynasty goes, no. Because you know what? They're going to have to prove they could do it again.
Yes, they do.
against stiffer competition,
Yep.
and hopefully no injuries to the teams that they play. And not to mention, what happens if they get their injuries next year that some of the teams
Yeah.
that they
Well,
faced?
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Porzingis has been injured for most of the season. So.
But they didn't need Porzingis. They were winning without him.
Agreed.
Okay?
Yeah.
Porzingis wasn't even a factor, to be honest with you, except for game one.
Yep.
And throughout up until game one, they had gone 11-1 without him
Yep.
in the playoffs. So please, the Porzingis thing really didn't equate as to anything that Boston was lacking.
Right.
Now, you tell me if Boston loses either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown,
Yep.
and then they lose either Drew Holiday or Derek White,
Yep.
and then they lose, what's his name, Horford,
Horford. Yep.
and
Al
one
Horford.
of their guys off the bench, like the Knicks did.
Yep.
You think they're gonna win any championships
Well,
like that?
And the Knicks are just like the Cavaliers. They suffer from a lot of injuries. I mean, they had injuries in during the
Everybody. It was Miami. It was Indiana.
Yep.
It was who they play in the second round?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Cleveland had Donovan Mitchell go down. They didn't have Jared Allen.
Correct.
In the Miami series, there was no Jimmy Butler.
Right.
And in the Indiana series, they should have lost game one.
Yes, they should have.
Actually, they could have lost 3 of those games.
Yes, they could have.
And in 2 of those games, they didn't even have Halliburton playing for Indiana.
Correct.
Okay? Smart coaching, and that series would have been 1-0 to start with in
Yep.
favor of the Pacers.
Yes.
But Rick Carlisle cries better than he coaches. Okay? And that's what happened. All right? And then, sure, Dallas. You think Luka was playing at 100%?
No, because he had to take a shot in his chest every game to stay because if you get a chest injury. Yeah.
And Kyrie just something about him going up against Boston.
It's like kryptonite. It's like kryptonite to Kyrie for some reason.
But some people are making an argument that this series proved that the NBA is rigged.
Because everybody wanted Boston.
No. Because how does Boston all season win, what was it, 5 out of 6 from Dallas? Not even close, average 20-point wins.
Yeah.
And they just so happen to lose by 38 points in game 4 so they can get the 5th game at home. Not to mention that Scott Foster was the referee, known as the extender.
And you're saying the NBA wanted Boston to win it at home.
The NBA wanted Boston to win it at home.
You mean your conspiracy
For
theory.
ratings and money. It served NBA best if Boston won at home.
Yeah, you're and your conspiracy theories. Anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what? Every sport nowadays is getting that rigged moniker thrown at them.
Yeah.
Because too many weird freaking things happen. How do they continuously beat this team comfortably and then lose by 38?
I don't know, man.
38? I can understand a squeaker.
I'm with you. I know.
And then they go home and win by 20 plus again.
Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
So I'm just saying, conspiracy, coincidence, whatever you want to call it, it's just too fishy not to ignore.
God.
You know, too fishy to ignore.
What about all right, with that being said, what about the Edmonton Oilers? They've won 2 in a row against Florida. Now it moves back to Edmonton for game 6.
I kind of agree with John. They made a mistake letting the Oilers win the game.
I mean, Connor McDavid is on fire, dude. I mean,
The last 2 games, he broke his own record.
Yep.
Most points in a 2-game span.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he put the icer the other day, although Tkachuk made a fabulous play.
That was a great play Tkachuk made, getting that puck out of the goal.
Keeping it out of the goal.
But he still paid for it because it went right to Connor and he put the biscuit in the basket.
He didn't miss
No.
like he's not supposed to, like
No.
he never does. Okay.
I mean,
I'm just saying, look, Remember I told you.
That was fantastic hustle on Kachuk's part, getting that puck out of there.
Remember I tell you Sunday. If Florida doesn't sweep Edmonton, and then they go home and lose, Edmonton now has somewhat of momentum because now they're going back home.
And you know what? The Rogers Center is going to be on fucking fire, dude.
And they should have won Game 3.
Yeah, the Rogers Center is going to be out of control.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and then what happens if it goes to Game 7?
Right.
Nobody knows.
Right. If it goes
because now Edmonton knows they can win in Florida.
Edmonton knows they can now win in Florida. And the other thing is that Connor McDavid has been unleashed, and he's on a roll.
Between McDavid, Draisaitl, Nurse, and Corey Perry.
Yes.
They are lit.
Yeah. I mean that goal that Perry scored with the pass from McDavid. That was amazing. That was amazing.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
That's why they call him McJesus, I guess.
I know, right? Yeah, McJesus.
You know. But I'm happy for John. You know that they're still hanging around.
Oh, I am too. I mean, Canada hasn't won a NHL final since 1993. So I mean,
30 years, yo.
Yeah, they're due. So I hope
30 years.
I hope they can pull off the comeback.
It's been 28 since Florida won one.
Yeah.
So one of those streaks is coming to an end. Me personally, although we'd have to hear the dribble from John all offseason, I'm going for Edmonton. I'm pulling for them to pull this series out and become the second team ever to come back from 0-3 in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes.
The only time it was done was when? 1947.
Really?
Don't ask me which teams it was, but it was 1947.
Okay.
Okay, that's the only other time that a team has come down from an 0-3 deficit and won the Stanley Cup. So history is in the making.
Yes.
Only thing that they have is that Edmonton doesn't lay an egg starting that game out.
Well, the game's tomorrow night. Game 7 or Game 6 is tomorrow night in Edmonton.
And then Game 6 Monday.
And then Game 7 on Monday in Florida. So.
Right. So, look, at this point, you know, the puck takes funny bounces.
Yep.
Anything's possible, man. Anything's
Agreed.
possible. And with McDavid playing the way he is and the other guys on the team kind of rallying around him and doing their thing, and what's his name hasn't been bad either, Skinner.
Right.
You know, it got a little hairy there after the first half of the game in Game 5.
Yep.
But they hung on, they persevered, and now they're 2 wins away from winning a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
And I'm sure that that will tickle John's fancy very much.
Yep. Yep. I'd like to see the Oilers come back from a 3-0 deficit and win the whole thing. I
like history, man. I like history is big.
Yep. Me too.
Especially something like that.
Yep. Speaking of history, you and I are not old enough to have seen Willie Mays in his prime.
No, actually, I saw Willie Mays when he played with San Francisco in the
late 60s?
Early 70s.
Okay.
And I saw him when he played in his last season with the New York Mets.
Right.
When they went to the World Series and lost to Oakland in 7 games.
Right. What can be said about Willie Mays? He was probably the most gifted baseball player in history.
There's not enough adjectives to cover.
No. I mean, you look at his catch in the 54 World Series that gets played over and over and over again. But he was a great ambassador for baseball.
But let's not get started with the conversation that the number 24 should be retired for the entire league. Because
why not?
Because that's not going to happen.
Because that's not Jackie Robinson? Is that what you're saying? Because Jackie Robinson's 42.
Jackie Robinson did one consequential thing in baseball.
He broke the color barrier.
Broke the color barrier. Okay. There have been many great baseball players. Willie Mays, more than most, it was because of his attitude and the kind of person he was off the field.
Yep.
Okay, but he wasn't the greatest baseball player of all time.
No, he wasn't.
You can make that claim for a few people.
Right, but up until he passed away, he was the greatest living baseball player.
Yeah, that qualifies you if you're still alive.
Yes.
But now he's not alive anymore, and he's no longer the greatest.
So who is
the greatest player of all time?
That's still alive.
Oh, that's still alive?
Yes.
Man, I don't know. Half of them might be dead already. I have no
idea. The reason I asked that question is because, and they covered it on Rich Eisen today too. That was the question they had. I mean, and they threw names out there like Clemens, Bonds, Rose, Nolan Ryan, Clemens.
Player of all time? I don't think pitchers qualify for that.
Well, I mean, again, this is just what they were putting out there. I mean,
to me, the greatest player of all time is somebody that plays every day.
Okay.
That's the criteria to me for greatest player of all time.
No one ever doubted Nolan's toughness, though, because the man pitched a game with blood coming out of his nose down his throat.
If he wasn't a pitcher, he probably would have been a catcher and got into some fights with people.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, he did get into a fight once, and that was freaking huge.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of Ron.
You also have to look at players like Griffey. Okay.
When you start getting into that conversation, I could definitely throw out Cal Ripken.
Yep.
Okay, for longevity, just basically
the Iron Man of baseball. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, Iron Man of baseball. That record's never going to be broken.
No, it's not.
Hank Aaron can be considered.
But he's no longer alive. He's
not alive.
Right.
So, as far as live is concerned,
what about Sandy Koufax?
Is Koufax still alive?
Yes, he is.
But he's a pitcher. Remember.
I know.
He might be the greatest living pitcher of all time.
Right.
But under my criteria, I don't consider him the greatest player.
You want somebody that plays on a daily basis, is what you're saying.
Yeah, somebody that's in the grind every single day, not every 4 or 5.
Well, you got guys like Cal Ripken.
I mean, you want a guy that plays all the time, that plays every day, and you want it to be a pitcher? Mariano Rivera, dude.
Rivera can be put in that category as well.
Qualify.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the numbers that his postseason numbers alone.
Yep.
Should qualify him as one of the greatest players of all time. Not to mention he had almost 650 saves.
Yes, and again, like I said, we can put Ken Griffey Jr. in there. We can put
Ken Griffey Jr. in there.
Rickey Henderson in there as well, the greatest base stealer of all time.
Right, but we're talking about greatest overall player.
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
We can start nitpicking as the greatest base stealer, greatest first baseman, greatest.
And Yastrzemski's still alive. He's another one.
Carl could be considered one of the top, at least top 10 of the ones that, the ones that are still alive.
Yes.
Top 5.
Yep. I mean, Yaz was the bomb. His grandson is playing, and he's pretty good too.
He plays for San Francisco.
Yeah. So.
But no, I would never, and it's not just because of the shadow that follows them, because of the steroid era, but I wouldn't consider Barry Bonds the greatest.
Well, Barry Bonds pre-steroids when he was with Pittsburgh.
You mean when he was a rail?
when he was on pace to be a Hall of Famer before going to San Francisco, when he decided to juice himself. You know what I'm saying?
No. You see, not just juice himself, but bulk up. He doubled his body size.
Yeah, he did.
When he went to San Francisco.
Yeah, and that's the same for guys like Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa as well.
The greatest robber in baseball of all time is Bobby Bonilla, because he's been robbing the Mets for how many years now? He's the greatest baseball thief of all time.
Correct.
But no, I mean, it's hard to put the finger on just one. because there's so many of them. But and remember, Mariano's number didn't get retired until he left because
Right.
his number was 42, just like Jackie Robinson.
Yep.
All right, but the Yankees have retired his number, obviously.
Mhm.
Here's the thing with the whole retiring somebody's number league wide is it starts to diminish the value of that particular category. It no longer is as special as the one player that it happened to. Now, maybe when we're gone, if they do it, that's different. When we're no longer on this earth and they decide a couple decades or whatever down the road that they want to retire somebody else's number, that's great. But for generations from then till now, putting up another number is diminishing the importance of the one number that is retired.
42.
Right. Again, because he broke the color barrier.
Well, you know what? And if we're going to retire Willie Mays' number, then we got to retire Babe Ruth's number 2. So
without Jackie Robinson, there is no Willie Mays.
Correct. You know, and again, like I said, if you're going to retire Willie Mays, you need to retire.
Well, they won't retire his number because he was a drunk. He wasn't exactly the nicest person.
Babe Ruth, you mean?
No, yeah. Babe Ruth might have been a great player, but he was not a great person.
No, he wasn't.
So that counts too.
Yep.
Because Jackie Robinson was a great person.
Yeah, he was.
On and off the field.
Yep.
And to me, that is the important part. You can be the greatest player of all time, but if you're an asshole off the field, then that doesn't make you the greatest. That doesn't qualify you for being immortal.
Right.
And that's what I think this whole thing is about, the immortality of these guys. And right now, the biggest immortality is Jackie Robinson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, again, once our generation, a lot of people don't know Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays in this generation now. So they'll be clamoring later on, oh, well, this guy should be. But when you're from our generation and generations up until maybe before the 2000s, Jackie Robinson is it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
As far as the accomplishments that he achieved while playing the game and off the field as well.
Yeah. But again, going back to Willie Mays, there have been so many comments and so many tributes to him over the last couple of days. In fact, that the Major League Baseball actually was playing a game in Rockford Park, I think in Rockford Field, Rickard Field, in Alabama.
That's where the Negro Leagues.
And it's the oldest baseball park in the country. In history, it's the oldest. It's like the first baseball field ever put on this. But anyway,
it's crazy because when he first went to the Mets, I was all excited. I watched his first game with the Mets.
But he was a shadow of himself.
No, I get that. But shadow, his first at bat, he hit a grand slam.
Okay, I did not know that. All right.
In the first inning.
Okay.
Yeah, first at bat with the Mets. He knocked the grand slam.
Okay.
I was like, holy shit. And then if it wasn't for some unforeseen circumstances, he would have won that World Series in his last season of playing baseball. Okay, the Mets should have won that World Series.
Right. Okay.
But that was just, to me, that was amazing because I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, okay, so he's going to come up. He's going to do a little something or whatever.
Yeah.
Bases loaded, first at bat with the Mets.
Gone.
To me, that's when he became immortal to me.
Right.
At that time.
Yeah. But you're a Yankees fan, not a Mets fan. So I don't.
No. I am a Yankees fan through and through.
Right.
But remember, back in those days, the Yankees were, before Steinbrenner came along, they were kind of on a downslide.
Right. In early 70s,
The
yes.
61 World Series.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't start watching baseball until right after the Mets won the World Series.
69.
Right. I started watching in 70. Okay. So at that time,
It didn't matter. It was a New York team.
it was a New York team, right?
Yeah.
Just like in '86, I rooted for the Mets to
Well, I think the whole country was rooting for the Mets in that series.
well, because they were playing the Red Sox too. So.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, no, I mean, the Mets were a big thing back in those days. I remember because I remember Bob Murphy, Ralph Kiner, and Lindsey Nelson.
Well, that's even way before my time. I mean, I'm
Those were the three announcers for Mets games, because Mets games were more televised at that point than Yankee games were.
Why?
Remember, the Yankees didn't have a TV station back then.
So the Yes Network was, I'm assuming it wasn't
No,
out
it wasn't in existence back then. You know, and I would see on TV more Mets games than Yankee games.
Okay.
Even though they had Bill White, Frank Messer, and Phil Rizzuto.
Yeah.
You know, I knew who they were, but
Holy cow, Phil Rizzuto.
But that's just because the Mets were a better team in that era
Than the Yankees were.
Than the Yankees were.
Okay.
The Yankees became relevant again in '73 when George Steinbrenner purchased them.
And then throughout the rest of this decade, they were just dominant. Yeah. I mean, gosh.
I mean, from then on, they just became a dynasty.
Yes.
And then the Mets slid off. You know, so I can't say that I was a Yankee fan from inception.
Okay.
Okay, but I did become more of a Yankees fan once Steinbrenner took over.
With Reggie Jackson.
It was kind of like I was a Dallas Cowboy fan growing up.
Oh my God.
Until
Joe Montana came around.
No, until Jerry Jones came around and
yeah. Well, and that's the same with me, because I was a big fan of the Cowboys when Roger Staubach and Tom Landry and Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson, Harvey Martin, Ed Tuttle Jones. I mean, that's the team that got me into football in the first place.
Hello.
Okay. Because that was a well-oiled machine, and I love the Tom.
How do you think I knew the name Raphael Septien the other day?
Yes, Raphael Septien. Oh my God, he's pulling out the place kicker number 1, Raphael Septien. Oh my God.
You know, and that's because, like I said, I followed the Cowboys.
I did too.
But once Jerry Jones did what he did,
oh my God, I was done.
Tom Landry, I was totally done.
Yeah, I was done too.
There was this kid named Montana playing in Notre Dame that really.
Well, you know what? And Jerry, when Jerry fired Tom Landry, that was the straw that broke my camel's back. Okay.
Well, not only that, but he didn't even fire him to his face.
Right.
He found out on TV or something like that.
Well, he was on a golf course, and I think Jerry. Yeah. So,
and then he turns around and fires probably the second best coach the Cowboys ever had,
Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson.
And you know why that is? Is because Jerry Jones likes to have yes men.
And Jimmy Johnson wasn't a yes man. He really wasn't.
No, neither was Bill Parcells.
Nope. And the thing of it is that Jerry Jones is paying the price, because 25 years later, he still hasn't won another Super Bowl, and he hasn't even gotten to an NFC Championship game. So, I mean,
29 years, baby. 29 years.
Yep.
You know?
Some quick NFL notes, Elliot, I want to get to, and then we can get out of here. Patriots re-signed Stevenson to a 4-year, $36 million extension.
Ramondre?
Yep.
Okay. I was expecting that.
And how about the contract for Trevor Lawrence?
Total highway robbery, dude.
Trevor Lawrence just robbed the hell out of
Jacksonville. They should call the police in Jacksonville and have either Trevor Lawrence or the guy who gave him that contract arrested. If not both.
Right. But I mean, this sets up the contracts for Tua, Dak Prescott. There's other quarterbacks in the league are looking for their.
Look, there's at least 10 quarterbacks in the league that are better than Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
What scares me about that is Brock Purdy needs to get paid next season, and he's way better than freaking Trevor Lawrence.
Brock Purdy will be the first $60 million man in the NFL.
It might cost us Brandon Ayuk, but
Ayuk needs to worry about getting on this year. I mean, he may not be signed this year.
He's still under contract for this year.
Right.
He still has to play, but that means that he probably won't come back after the year is over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But, the Cowboys should maybe consider trading him to somebody.
Did you see where Kittle lost 30 pounds after surgery?
No, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, he's lost 30 pounds after the surgery.
What surgery did he have again?
Hang on, let me find out here real quick.
I mean, I've been partially out of touch with some.
He had core surgery.
Oh yeah, that's gonna take it away from.
So he's dropped 30 pounds. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you think he puts it back on between now and training camp?
Look, he'll be in the training room with the conditioners. You know what I'm saying? And he'll gain his muscle weight back, his muscle and his weight.
He couldn't do any upper body work because of his shoulder and his rib.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do lower body because of my core surgery.
Right.
So he hasn't lifted from the Super Bowl until like almost mid-March. So I'm assuming what he's going to do is he's going to get himself to where he's lifting enough to where he can get back to where he's playing weight.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe a little bit of weight loss, gain some back, might make him a little quicker. Too.
Well, and his typical playing weight is around 250. So you figure he's 230 now, or 220. I know 220. 220. So I mean, maybe he starts lifting and gets back. So
I'm still mind blown by the Trevor Lawrence thing.
I mean, what has he proven, Ellie? He hasn't proven anything.
No, not even in Jackson. I mean, they give him all these pieces, and he still can't do anything. Matter of fact, C.J. Stroud is better than him.
Yes.
In that division alone, I think C.J. Stroud is better than him.
Absolutely.
I think Anthony Richardson
Yep.
can be better than him.
Yep.
We all know that the 4 quarterbacks in the AFC North, except for maybe just Deshaun.
Well, and you know what? And I tend to agree with this, but the AFC North is going to be the best division in football next year. It really is.
Well, you got all the quarterbacks there. I mean, look at up and down. You put Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he might not even be top 10 in the AFC.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you look at it. You got Tua. You got Josh Allen. You got Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
And we don't know anything about Drake May yet, but
right.
Then you got Burrow.
Yep.
Lamar.
Jamal, and you got to put Watson in there. I know he's not great for this pass.
Yeah, but if you're going to do that, you got to put Russell Wilson in there too.
True, absolutely.
Because Russell Wilson has capabilities.
Yes, I agree.
That Trevor Lawrence has never done.
Correct.
Okay, and in the South, in the West, you got Patrick.
Right.
Mahomes.
Yep.
Okay. Who else is there? We can't count Denver. We can't count the Raiders.
Chargers.
You got Justin Herbert. And then in the AFC South, we already mentioned C.J. Stroud,
Tua,
Anthony Richardson. Well, he's in the East.
That's right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. AFC South. Okay. Yeah. You got C.J.
C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson.
Right.
Who else is in that division?
Tennessee, which they've got Will Levis.
Yeah, but Will Levis is still borderline.
Yes.
And who's the other team in there?
Well, the Jags.
Yeah, the Jaguars. Okay,
Yeah.
So you look at that list, and he might squeak into the top 10.
Right.
But he could easily fall outside the top 10 too.
I agree. I'm with you.
And that's just in that conference.
Yep.
Because in the other conference, you got Jalen Hurts, who I think is a better quarterback.
So is Dak.
This might hurt me to say, but Dak Prescott.
Right.
who's a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. Washington's going to have Jaden Daniels. We'll see how that
We'll
works.
see how that goes. Right. Yeah. I mean,
You
and
know?
then you got Detroit. With
But you got
Jared
Jared
Goff.
Goff, who's actually shown that he was worth the money.
Yes, he is.
Okay. You got Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is going to be a superstar. He's going to get paid too.
Yeah. Caleb Williams, jury's still out.
And the jury's still out on what they got going on in
Minnesota.
In Minnesota too. So you got two
Right.
quarterbacks in there. So we'll see how that goes.
NFC South, we can't really.
You got Baker, you got Kirk Cousins, you got Dak Prescott, and you
Dak
got.
Prescott's in the East.
I'm not sorry, Dak. I'm sorry. What the hell? Oh, the kid from the guy in New Orleans, Derek Carr. Excuse me, Derek Carr.
I don't know about Derek Carr. He might
Yeah.
fall into this.
And then Carolina's bust from last year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, and then in the West, you got Purdy, you got Matthew Stafford, and Kyler Murray's not a bad quarterback.
Kyler Murray's not a bad quarterback, and then you got Geno Smith in
And
Seattle.
Geno Smith, who's revamped his career.
Yep.
So easily, he's not in the top 10 in the entire NFL.
No, I don't think he is either.
But yet he's the highest paid quarterback in the league now.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, he got Burrow money, and the reason is because that's what the market is determined.
And guess what?
Okay.
That record ain't gonna last very long. It might be broken 2 or 3 times.
Right, because you got Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Tua looking for a contract. All these guys are looking for
We said it earlier. Purdy's up this year.
Well, this will be Purdy's third season in the NFL, so we'll see. I mean, if he after this year, then he gets the option. They can re-sign him, so we'll see what happens.
Well, right now, look, in this quarterback era, this age of quarterbacks,
Yep.
a guy like Purdy, you can't let go.
No, because he's a unicorn.
This guy is like, I mean, he's like the rebirth of Joe Montana.
Yeah, he's a unicorn. You're right. I mean, the Mr. Irrelevant is no longer irrelevant. He's Mr. Relevant.
No, he put the relevant in irrelevant.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and he also what he also did is he changed the mentality of the NFL draft process
Right.
when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yep.
Because Tom Brady did that. He was the 100. He wasn't Mr.
Mr. 299. Mr. 299.
It was 199, wasn't it?
Maybe.
It doesn't go up to 299. It goes up to 262. I think.
All right. So 199. Mr. 199.
But still, 199. There were 198 players drafted ahead of Tom Brady,
Yep.
greatest quarterback of all time.
Famous for talking to Mr. Kraft. Mr. Kraft on the best decision you ever made. So we'll
The
see
best
what.
decision you ever made,
And he was right.
and he was right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
Dak Prescott was a 4th-round quarterback.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you look down this list, and now let's look at the number ones. They have been
Ah.
busts.
Huh.
Okay, let's look at them. You got who's the guy? Trey Lance,
Trey Lance was number 2 overall.
the guy that the Jets, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. And what's his face? The kid who went with Denver.
Yeah, you see, we already forgot his name.
Oh, right. Yeah. He
He's irrelevant.
Josh,
Wilson?
whatever. Yeah.
Wilson.
Wilson. There you go.
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Thank you.
At the time, Baker Mayfield was a bust.
He was a number 1 overall pick with the Browns. Yes. And he was a bust after a couple of years. You're correct.
Josh Rosen.
Where's he at now?
Well, one of the greatest where's he at now is what was the name? The guy that got drafted after Peyton Manning?
Oh.
Arizona. Who did he play for?
No, it wasn't Arizona. It was
He got drafted by the Chargers, I think.
was it Peyton's year?
Yeah, he was the pick right after Peyton.
I know Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf, there you go.
Well, I tell you what, his football knowledge is pretty good. Have you ever seen him on some shows? He's got a good football
The
brain.
knowledge is great.
Yeah,
You just can't translate that onto the field.
correct.
Okay.
Well,
he be a great mind, but not a great
it's
talent.
going on off the field too. I mean, he was too young to all that kind of pressure. He was too young to handle it.
Well, let's look at some other ones. Art Schlichter.
Oh God, Mr. Kimbler. Oh God, you had to pick on Ohio State, didn't you, Elliot? I can't hold it anymore. I'll be right back. I can't hold it.
Ah. What's up, everybody? I'm just sitting here while the host takes a quick pee-pee break, I guess. Anybody in the chat room? Anybody? I can't see the chats right now, but let me see if I can find my way over. Oh, there we are. Old man pissing. I go, hey, everybody, the host is in the bathroom.
Oh, thank you, Elliot. I was trying to hold it. I mean, we only got 15 minutes left, but it's
Sheila commented, old man pissing.
Yes, old man pissing. You are correct, Sheila. Yes. The old man can't control his bladder as well as he could 30 years ago, but that's all right.
So back to the great number one picks. Justin Fields hasn't really translated into anything yet.
He's the backup in Pittsburgh, so if Russell starts fucking up.
Yeah, but still, he didn't show anything in Chicago.
No.
That makes you think that he can do that.
Yeah, I know.
You see what I'm saying?
But then again, it was Chicago, so I mean.
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Again, all these number one picks, and yet you got a guy that was picked 262nd, and he's already being put into conversations with names like Joe Montana.
Yes.
Tom Brady, greatest of all time.
Correct.
Dak Prescott, greatest regular season quarterback.
Jesus Christ.
I think one of the biggest mistakes San Francisco ever made was when they didn't draft Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, and Aaron was a big Niners fan when he was a kid.
Well, he's from there.
Yeah, he's from there.
He played for the Cal Golden Bears.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they went ahead and took Alex Smith.
You know what? Oh, Alex Smith was a good quarterback. He really was.
He became a good quarterback. But
when he went
to play with the 49ers.
When he went to Kansas City, he was when he really excelled. So
was Brett Favre a number one pick?
No, he wasn't. No.
He played for Atlanta first.
He was traded from Atlanta.
He was traded from Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, no.
He was back up to somebody.
Because Barry Glanville was an idiot, but that's okay.
But again, I mean, you look at all the number one picks. Look at Daniel Jones.
There's been a lot of
Daniel Jones.
There's been a ton of first round busts. You know,
second round according to.
I mean, going back to Cleveland, 1999, they drafted that kid from Kentucky.
Well, I mean, Cleveland was historic for drafting bad number one or first round quarterbacks.
Yes, Tim Couch, Johnny Football.
Johnny Manziel. Well, don't call him Johnny Football. That doesn't apply.
Good Lord.
Johnny Manziel. So again, I mean, you look at it and guys like that, like Brady and Purdy, and they've just made it a reality that
maybe with Purdy, it's the system. I don't know if he's a system quarterback, but he's shown a lot. So I don't know.
What would have happened with Cleveland had they taken Josh Allen with the first pick?
Because they took Baker instead of Josh Allen, didn't they? Shoot me now, for God's sake. Just shoot me fucking now. Thanks for pointing that out, Elliot. I really appreciate it. Dumbass. Anyway.
That was the Zach Wilson draft too, wasn't it?
Oh, well, yeah. But you know what? How'd that work out for the Jets?
Well, and what do you think 9 other teams feel like right now when they know that they had a chance to get Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, I know.
The city
Yeah.
took him to 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, again, to me, that's a scouting issue.
But you know what? Teams have been have been missing on first round picks for decades.
Not all of them, but most of them.
I mean, yeah, a lot of them have. They've missed out on. I mean, they've taken people they should never have taken in the first place.
Roger Staubach.
Mm.
That was about the last time they did. Oh, Troy Aikman.
Well, Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and.
I'm talking about just quarterbacks.
Okay, just quarterbacks. Okay.
So Staubach, Aikman, and then nobody.
Well, you've got Romo and now Prescott.
Really? You want to put Romo in the conversation?
You know
was
what?
He a number 1 pick? Was he a first-round pick?
I think Romo was a first-round pick. No, I don't think so. Dak wasn't either. He was a
first-round picks. Aikman, Staubach. They were first-round picks. And Staubach even had to sit out a year because of his Navy.
Well, you know, he had to sit out for a few years because of his Navy obligation.
But they thought so much of him that they drafted him with that first-round pick.
Right. And you know what? He was a Heisman Trophy winner. So why wouldn't you draft?
It was like when San Antonio drafted David Robinson and he had to stay in the Navy.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, to me, is excellent scouting.
Yeah, but that was the Cowboys back in the 60s. I mean, they drafted him.
It doesn't matter, dude. To me, when you miss out, when you miss the target, it has to do with bad scouting, bad front office, bad coaching.
And since 1996 or 97, Jerry Jones has not been able to draft well at all.
No. And you look at Atlanta, they don't really draft well at all either.
Well, you can look at the Michael Vick draft.
Well, yeah, but Michael Vick was another unicorn at the time.
He was a unicorn, and Atlanta was a good. But the problem with Michael Vick is the fact that when he came into the league, there was a certain team in Tampa that had the best defense in the NFL and shut him down most of the time too. So, I mean, you can look at that as well.
Now, was that best team when they were Pewter or when they were
Pewter? No, they were Pewter. They were Pewter. 2002, 2003, they won the Super Bowl. Remember?
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
they won the Super Bowl in San Diego.
That's when Rich Gannon threw 5 touchdowns, but 3 of them were to Tampa.
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, and you know what? What's funny about that is, and to this day, I will say this. John Gruden did not win that Super Bowl. He won it with Tony Dungy's team. That was Tony Dungy's team.
Well, and you could say the same thing about Steve Kerr in Golden State because that was Mark Jackson's team.
Correct. You say the same thing with Barry, whatever his fucking name is in
Switzer?
Dallas. Switzer.
Swisher?
Yeah. They won that with Jerry Johnson's team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, but that Tampa defense was amazing back in the day, and that's when I was.
Oh, it ranked up there with the Monsters of the Midway.
Yes.
The Baltimore defense of
Yes.
what was it?
2000, yes. And almost, the Bears defense in '85 was just, that's on another level. But
well, remember the Purple People Eaters?
yes, I do.
Minnesota. You had the Steel Curtain in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Dallas had a great defense in the
Doomsday defense.
Yeah. Harvey Martin, Randy White,
Ed Too Tall Jones.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, whenever you have great defense, you're going to do great things.
Defense wins championships.
No matter who your quarterback is, because Trent Dilfer was
Trent Dilfer was not the reason why the Ravens won the Super Bowl. No.
Neither was Brad Johnson.
No, Brad Johnson wasn't the reason either. I mean, come on. How many times did they pick off Rich Gannon in the Super Bowl?
And quite honestly, Eli Manning, if it wasn't for New York Giants.
You know what though? Eli was clutch in those two Super Bowls. He was clutch.
He got lucky in those 2 Super
That
Bowls.
too.
Okay, clutch. No, that was lucky because you know what? First of all, the in the grass rule was gone at that time. and he was in the grass.
I know, right? There you go.
He escaped and started scrambling, which he never does.
Right.
He freaking heaves the ball downfield, and David Tyree sticks it to his helmet against one of the greatest defensive backs in history, Rodney
Harrison.
Okay, that is lucky.
Yes.
Just like in the next Super Bowl when they beat New England, when he threw that Hail Mary to Mario Manningham on the sideline.
With a great toe tap before he keep going out of bounds.
I'm just saying, Giants defense won that game.
Yeah.
The defense is what did it. They kept him in the game long enough.
Yep.
Because he wasn't capable of blowing anybody out.
Correct. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And New England had good defense too. Remember, New England was 18-0 going into that game.
Yes, I know.
And I'm telling you now, that play right there is the most unicorn play I've ever seen.
Yep.
Because if the in the grass rule was in effect at that time, Giants would have lost that Super Bowl.
Yep. But
Manning, for whatever reason, the hand of God came in and swiped those New England defenders away, and he escaped, rolled out, threw a Hail Mary, and David Tyree answered.
Yep.
You know, it was kind of like when New England came back against Atlanta.
28-3.
That one catch by Edelman.
I mean, you know what? I still look back on that catch. It was just like, oh my God, how the fuck?
I have to keep looking to see if the tip
how in the hell did he keep that from touching the freaking ground, man? How in the hell did that happen? Are you freaking kidding me? Am I wrong?
Look, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
So does Edelman belong in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I mean, if you're going to say Edelman, then you might want to consider Wes Welker and anybody else that Tom Brady made look great.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I think Tom Brady was the architect behind making those.
Oh yeah.
You know, Gronkowski too.
Yeah.
I don't think Gronkowski reaches the heights that he did without Tom Brady.
Agreed.
Okay, and I don't think Edelman and Welker and those guys would have either, because Welker went on to play with Peyton, right? Or he went to play in Denver at one point.
I think it was Denver. Yes, I'm not sure.
I don't think Peyton was yet there yet.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, you know, it's like the stars aligned. And I don't think Edelman would have been who he is had he not been with New England, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, the whole nine. Tom Brady made a lot of stars. And that's what also makes him considered the greatest of all time.
Because he made the players around him better. He made all the players around him better. So.
Which is why I can never consider LeBron James anywhere near the GOAT conversation.
No, I mean, like Dan Patrick today was like, what would happen if Dallas were to draft Bronny and with LeBron's desire to play with Kyrie again?
Let me just put the stamp on it, okay, as far as the Jordan-LeBron conversation. And this was a post I put up 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Never saw Jordan asking for your effing respect.
Correct.
I've never seen the public intimidating Michael Jordan in his own house.
Correct.
Never saw Jordan looking for a referee to ask him to remove a fan who paid for his entry.
Correct.
Never saw Jordan lose in the finals.
Nope.
Never saw Jordan score 8 points in the finals.
Correct.
Against Berea, by the way. I never saw Jordan get swept in the finals.
Nope.
Never saw Jordan lose to an inferior team in the playoffs.
Correct.
Never seen Jordan lose in the Olympics.
Nope.
Never seen Jordan play on a super team and not make the playoffs.
Correct.
Never saw Jordan rest in the offseason. He always tried to play every game.
Yep.
I've never seen Jordan proclaim himself the greatest of all time.
And he never was a part. He never had weight management or play.
He didn't have this. He didn't have the scientific advancements of the body.
Correct.
Now He's never proclaimed himself greatest of all time. He hates that conversation.
Correct.
Okay. And without a doubt, there is no one who surpasses Michael Jordan as the GOAT in the world of basketball.
I'm with you all 100%. Jordan is the GOAT. He always will be the GOAT. And there's nobody that's ever going to take him over.
I think that post right there, that was the epitome of ending the argument between LeBron James, between who's the GOAT. Because I tell you what, if it wasn't Jordan, I'd still pick Kobe ahead of.
I would pick Kobe above LeBron as well.
James.
Yes, I would too. All right, it's 8 o'clock, Elliot. Let's get the hell out of here. Get some sleep, get some rest. Good luck on your packing. I'll be
Don't say
thinking
that
of
word,
you.
please. It hurts just to hear the word.
I know. Hopefully we'll see you on Sunday night. In the meantime, thank you, Sheila, for showing up. Thank you for the one member on Twitter and the one member on Twitch that did follow us tonight and watch us tonight. I appreciate that. I am the sports nerd, and on behalf of my co-host, Mr. Elliot Big E, the producer, Elliot Lamba, we will be back Sunday night at 7:30. Elliot, play the outro.
Oh, wait a minute. You know
Come
what?
on now.
I got a message earlier that for some reason the system couldn't find. Hang on.
Come on now. Come on. Here we go. Come on. You got this. You got this.
Got it. No, it's not playing it for some reason.
All right. Well, then we'll just get the heck
We're
out
out
of
of
here.
here, people. You see what LeBron James does? He screws everything up.
Exactly. You talk about LeBron James and it screws everything up. All right. We'll be back Sunday night, guys. Thank you.